What is going on, guys? I'm not going to waste any of your time today with any foreplay here. We're just going to get right into this 2-round 2018 NFL mock draft. Just do me a favor and hit the like button before you forget. And if you really like this mock, subscribe to the channel because I'm just getting started over here. The goal in this video is 500 likes. If we can hit that again, my next mock draft will have 3 rounds. So let's jump right in. With the first pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select Sam Darnold. Guys, hate it or love it, Sam Darnold is going to be the #1 overall draft pick in the 2018 NFL draft. I think that all of this Josh Allen talk is just draft speak from NFL GMs trying to throw up smoke screens because Josh Allen is a huge gamble at quarterback in my opinion. He's the type of QB prospect that gets GMs fired. If Christian Hackenberg can't even get a real snap in an NFL game because his accuracy is so inconsistent, I don't know why teams would want to spend a top pick on Josh Allen. With the second pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the New York Giants select Josh Rosen. A lot of people think the Giants are going to take Saquon Barkley here, and you can check out the comments on my Giants 7-round mock draft for proof. But when it comes down to it, the Giants are going to secure the most important position in sports for the next decade. Rosen would actually do really well to sit behind Eli Manning for half a season or so and watch a consummate pro go to work and spend a lot of time in the weight room to really get his body ready for the beating included in a 16-game NFL season. If the Giants front office gets cold feet here and trades out of this spot, they're going to regret it when they watch Josh Rosen from a short distance flourish up in Buffalo for the next decade. With the third pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the New York Jets select Baker Mayfield. The Jets traded up for a quarterback, and that means they have to like at least 3 out of the top 4 guys. Baker Mayfield is exactly what the Jets need. They don't have a true identity, and Baker Mayfield changes that immediately. Where head coach Todd Bowles lacks some personality, Mayfield is going to be a great contrast to that. I don't believe that these guys are truly interested in Josh Allen, and it's just a smokescreen here also. So look for Baker Mayfield to be the top pick here. And with that sound, we have our first mock draft trade. With the 4th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Buffalo Bills select Josh Allen. The 4th pick is such an interesting spot. Obviously, the Browns aren't taking another quarterback, but the trend lately has been that if you see a quarterback that you want, you have to go up and get him. The Bills started making moves up in March, and I think they might have to wait until draft night to decide where they want to go. You can see the nightmare scenario for the Bills in my last mock draft, but in this one, the Bills are making the trade up in front of the Broncos to get their guy. And I'll say it again, I am not a fan of Josh Allen as an NFL quarterback. Don't get it twisted. I'll probably try and trade for him in Madden 19 because he's going to be a beast with all his physical traits, but I can develop his accuracy in Madden, and that's not as simple in real life. With the 5th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Denver Broncos select Quenton Nelson. The Broncos are going to continue to be a defensive, grinded-out team with Case Keenum at quarterback. They could get Saquon Barkley to become the focal point of their offense, but any running back is going to struggle without the big guys up front. Quenton Nelson is the kind of offensive lineman that changes the entire group because he brings a different mentality to the offensive line room. He's an alpha dog with all-pro abilities and could transform the Broncos' offensive line from a weakness to a strength. With the 6th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Bradley Chubb. The Colts traded down 3 spots and still get the top guy they had on their board. I'm sure Colts fans are screaming for Saquon Barkley at this point, but the running backs are going to be easier to find than these defensive centerpieces. The Colts are undergoing a defensive scheme change and would really benefit from a truckload of picks to get as many young prospects as possible to assist in the transition. Bradley Chubb is about to get the entire NC State line drafted, so he takes a lot of pressure off of the rest of the Colts defensive line. I've got a 7-round mock draft for the Colts that goes into more detail about their draft strategy. You should go check it out when you're done here. It's also got an alternate trade down with the Bills scenario at the end. I'll put a link in the description. With the 7th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers selects Derwin James. Now by now you guys know that Derwin James is one of my favorite players in this draft, and I think that he's going to be drafted higher than he's projected currently because it's so difficult to find playmakers like him at the safety position. With Florida State being just around the corner for the Bucs, I'm expecting that they've done their homework on him and will be ready to grab the defensive playmaker over a running back. I once said that this was as far as Saquon Barkley would fall, and I still believe he could be the missing link to Jameis Winston, becoming a top quarterback in this league, but I just don't think the league is going to value Barkley as much as us fans do when the draft is finally here. With the 8th pick in this 2018 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select Tremaine Edmunds. The Bears have transformed their offense with their free agency moves, and now it's time to get back to their roots. Strong linebacker play. Tremaine Edmunds is another one of my favorite prospects in this 2018 NFL draft, and I think he could be one of the top linebackers in the league in a couple years. He's only 19 years old right now and has barely scratched the surface as far as what he can become as a football player. With the 9th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the San Francisco 49ers select Saquon Barkley. The 49ers are in a position to take the best player available on their board, and Saquon Barkley was an unexpected player to be available for them. Despite signing Jerick McKinnon, the 49ers could add the top running back in the draft. Barkley does everything McKinnon does and more. He's also got the ability to be an every down back, and McKinnon has showed in the past that he is best suited as a complementary back. The best way to ensure that Jimmy Garoppolo is successful is to surround him with weapons, and the 49ers had one of the best in a long time fall into their lap. With the 10th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Oakland Raiders select Denzel Ward. This has been an easy player to mock for quite some time, with the Sean Smith news solidifying cornerback as the Raiders' biggest need. Reuniting Denzel Ward and last year's first-round pick Gary Conley would give the Raiders two complementing cornerbacks to match up with a range of weapons in the AFC West, ideally the Chiefs' wide receivers. And with that sound, there has been another trade. With the 11th pick in the 2018 NFL mock draft, the Arizona Cardinals are on the clock and they select Lamar Jackson. Listen, the Cardinals are either in the process of blowing it all up or making a move to be ready for the post-Larry Fitzgerald era. Sam Bradford gives the Cardinals a chance to at least be competitive and allow Fitzgerald to continue to receive consistent targets. What kind of future do the Cardinals have after that? The Bidwells are traditionally more conservative than this, and I actually really like the Dolphins to stand still here and select Lamar Jackson themselves, as I mocked in my last 2018 NFL mock draft. But the Cardinals will be a great place for Jackson to land. Despite having a new defensive head coach in Steve Wilks, offensive coordinator Mike McCoy has a great reputation as an offensive mind and could be in charge of installing an offense for Lamar Jackson focused around David Johnson. While this trade might be more unrealistic than some of the others, I hope for Cardinals fans' sakes that they try to do something that resembles an effort to win now and in the future. After trading down, the Browns are now on the clock, and with the 12th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select Connor Williams. I was shocked and disappointed when Joe Thomas retired because it seems like he would finally be able to protect a competent quarterback in Tyrod Taylor. With the Browns trading down, drafting the top offensive tackle in Connor Williams could become a more realistic option rather than their previous slotting. I don't buy Mike McGlinchey as the top offensive tackle in the draft because he's a career right tackle in the NFL. Healthy 2016 Connor Williams was easily the best offensive tackle in the country, and him fighting through injuries in 2017 has made people question his ability. When it comes down to it, teams are going to look at the ceiling for Connor Williams and draft him based off of 2016, and he's going to end up in the top 15, and the Browns at number 12 would make a lot of sense. With the 13th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Washington Redskins select Vita Vea. The Redskins don't have a ton of holes, but their run defense was a weak spot in 2017. Vita Vea might never be as good as Haloti Ngata, who he's often compared to, but his ceiling is pretty close. Their 3-4 defense doesn't have a true nose tackle, and Vita Vea could be the backbone needed to allow the rest of the unit to flourish. The Redskins signing of Phil Taylor makes me think that they in fact recognize that they need to address the nose tackle position and could be used as backup plan in case Vita Vea is not there for them. With the 14th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Green Bay Packers select Minkah Fitzpatrick. Minkah Fitzpatrick might be a surprising faller in this draft because he's a man without a true position. The Packers could use help at either cornerback or safety, but they would have to move Quenton Dix to strong safety and play Minkah at free. Ultimately, I think Fitzpatrick ends up at cornerback, but either way, he's too good a value for the Packers to pass up for an edge rusher here. After trading down with the 15th pick in the 2018 mock draft, the Miami Dolphins select Roquan Smith. The Dolphins are either hitting the reset button or trying to reload one more time with Tannehill at quarterback. In my last mock, I had them resetting with Lamar Jackson, but here I have them grabbing Roquan Smith as the new leader of their defense. They could stay at 11 and take Roquan Smith, but if someone wants to move up with them, they should take it because they have a ton of needs and not enough picks to fill them. With the 16th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Baltimore Ravens select Calvin Ridley. Ravens fans must hate looking at mock drafts this year because this pick has become boring for them, but it's only because it makes so much sense. Let's not overthink it and keep it simple. The Ravens need to get as much out of Flacco as possible since he owns their salary cap, and Ozzie Newsome loves drafting Alabama players. Insert Calvin Ridley. With the 17th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Los Angeles Chargers select Mike McGlinchey. The Chargers have actually been rumored as a landing place for Lamar Jackson, and in my next mock, I think I'm going to have to find a way for the Chargers to trade up for him. But for now, I have the Chargers loading up at offensive line for one more run with Philip Rivers at quarterback. The Chargers need to win games to stay relevant, and their Los Angeles rivals are loading up for a Super Bowl run in 2018. Mike McGlinchey at right tackle could be the last piece to filling out the Chargers offensive line and help Melvin Gorey carry the load when Rivers finally decides to hang him up. With the 18th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Isaiah Wynn. The Seahawks are falling apart and their offensive line is a disaster. Isaiah Wynn is the best offensive lineman available at this point in the draft, and the Seahawks have to reach on him if they want Russell Wilson to make it through an entire season. And that sound means we have another trade. And with the 19th pick in the 2018 NFL mock draft, the New England Patriots select Harold Landry. The Patriots threw my newest 2018 NFL mock draft through the ringer with their trade of Brandin Cooks to the Rams, but it also opened up a chance for another trade, so I'm taking advantage. The Patriots are all in until Tom Brady retires, and it wouldn't surprise me if they made a trade up in the draft even higher than this to get the guy that they want. They might have won the Super Bowl if they could have gotten more of a pass rush, so I think they move up in the draft to get a dynamic edge rusher, maybe a corner, maybe an offensive tackle in this 2018 NFL draft. Harold Landry is better than the 19th player in this draft, but he's being underrated from a down 2017 season. With him playing his college ball right down the street, it's likely the Patriots remember his dominant 2016 season. With the 20th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Detroit Lions select Marcus Davenport. Speaking of the Patriots defense falling apart in the Super Bowl, Matt Patricia is going to need some pass rush help to protect the defense from getting eaten alive. With Harold Landry falling so far, Marcus Davenport gets pushed right down into the Lions' lap. He's a raw edge rushing prospect with Ziggy Ansah only on a 1-year franchise tag right now. The Lions should look to add pass rushers just in case they can't extend him for the future. With the 21st pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Mike Gesicki. The Bengals never draft who you think they will. They try to predict the needs of the future whether it works out or not. For example, the year they drafted 2 offensive tackles in the first and second rounds, they still had Andrew Whitworth and Eric Winston on their roster. Turned out that both of those players are busts now, but you can't knock them for trying to be proactive on restocking the shelf. This year they brought Tyler Eifert back on a 1-year deal, and I think the injuries have robbed him of some of his athleticism. If the Bengals don't trust him to make it through an entire season, they could look to replace him early on in the NFL draft, and with their pick in the litter in the first round, it could happen at pick number 21. With the 22nd pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Cleveland Browns select Josh Jackson. With the third of their first rounders, the Browns should look to grab a top cornerback prospect. Josh Jackson has the length and size you want from an NFL quarterback these days. He should help the Browns create more turnovers as he had 8 interceptions in 2017. After trading down with the 23rd pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys select Leighton Vander Esch. If you've seen my 7-round mock draft for the Cowboys, then you know I had them targeting Leighton Vander Esch at number 19. So being able to trade down and collect another third in the process is a big win for the Cowboys. The Cowboys are going to be looking to trade up in either the first or second round, and the trade back here allows them to move up in the early second or even back in the first round to grab a wide receiver or a guard. With the 24th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Carolina Panthers select Jair Alexander. The Panthers failed Bashaud Breeland's physical, so they would obviously like to add some pieces to the secondary. Jair Alexander is the first cornerback on the board for a lot of people in this draft, but I think mid to late 20s is where he ends up going, and this would be a great spot for him. With the 25th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Tennessee Titans select Arden Key. The Titans need more athleticism from the edge position, and Arden Key could benefit from working with Mike Vrabel and his coaching staff. Arden Key was an underachiever at LSU, but with some better coaching, Key has a high ceiling. With the 26th pick in the 2018 NFL mock draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Daron Payne. Daron Payne is another pick that just makes too much sense to change it up at this point in the draft process. After Dontari Poe didn't work out for them, Daron Payne is a younger, more athletic version of Dontari Poe and could be just what the Falcons defense needs to take the next step. With the 27th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the New Orleans Saints select Mark Andrews. The Saints are gearing up for one more ride with Drew Brees, and surrounding him with weapons is a great place to start. The top tight ends in this draft are kind of a toss-up, so if it's not Mark Andrews, maybe it's Dallas Goedert. But I heard a rumor about the Patriots possibly trading Rob Gronkowski to the Saints, so stay tuned on that one. With the 28th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select Rashaan Evans. This landing spot for Rashaan Evans seems almost too good to be true. The Steelers have an obvious need at inside linebacker after what happened with Ryan Shazier, but there is a gauntlet of teams with needs at linebacker ahead of the Steelers. If he makes it past the Cowboys, Bengals, and Saints, the Steelers will be waiting there with open arms. Alright guys, we've got another trade, and this one's kind of a shocker. With the 29th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Dallas Cowboys have traded up with the Jaguars to select Courtland Sutton. So pay less attention to the player choice and more attention to the draft strategy. The Cowboys can trade down a bit and still get an impact defensive player in the first. With that extra ammo they get from the trade down can allow the Cowboys to trade up with their second round pick, possibly even back into the first round and secure that 5th-year option on the rookie contract. For the record, I think the Cowboys are being straight savages with their treatment of Dez Bryant right now. They're basically out there flirting with all these other wide receivers and posting selfies of it on social media for Dez to see before they meet with him to discuss their contract. Jason Garrett was the only head coach at the SMU Pro Day and was filmed working one-on-one with Courtland Sutton. Even if the Cowboys are setting themselves up to cut Dez Bryant in this draft, Sutton doesn't seem like the best complement to Allen Hurns, and I would think a burner like DJ Moore would make more sense if the Cowboys are trading up to get a wide receiver. With the 30th pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Will Hernandez. The Vikings have had an awesome free agency season, and I think they could end up being pretty aggressive when it comes to filling their needs in the draft. They actually don't have a ton of needs, but in this scenario they're able to sit back and let Will Hernandez fall to them. Hernandez could be the alpha dog on that offensive line from day one and really help them establish a consistent running game with Brandin Cooks in 2018. Oh yeah, and they signed this new quarterback who's supposed to be pretty good, so Hernandez could help protect that investment too. With the 31st pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the New England Patriots select Brian O'Neill. For the first few mock drafts I made, I've had Mike McGlinchey falling to the Patriots, but that's not going to happen. Even with this weak offensive line class, McGlinchey is just too solid of an offensive tackle for teams with needs at right tackle to pass on. But you know Bill Belichick loves taking this random obscure offensive line prospect no one's ever heard of and turning them into all pros. I think Brian O'Neill is that guy. He's really athletic for an offensive tackle and just needs help on the mechanics. With the 32nd pick in this 2018 NFL mock draft, the Philadelphia Eagles select Kolton Miller. The Super Bowl champs might be the hardest team to mock for. They kind of have a hole at linebacker. They could use some depth at offensive tackle. Maybe they load up at running back. Do they add another wide receiver? With the top linebackers off the board and their veteran signings, getting offensive line help is probably the next need on the list and the weakest group of prospects. So the Eagles should grab an offensive tackle sooner rather than later. Kolton Miller might not be the best fit for the Eagles, but he's the best prospect available at this point. Alright guys, that's it for the first round. Stay tuned for the second round here, but if you've made it this far, please hit that like button and consider subscribing to this channel. It really helps me out and keeps me motivated to keep making NFL videos. The response from these draft videos has been awesome so far, and I really appreciate all the constructive criticism from you guys. My goal for this video is 500 likes. We did it once, and I believe we can do it again. Thanks guys, and good luck to your NFL teams during the draft. Also, shout out to the Patriots and Rams for completing their trade right before I was about to record this video. To prevent this video from being 30 minutes long, I'm not going to break down all of the second round picks, but if you have any questions about any of the second round picks I have for your team, feel free to ask me about them in the comments. I do respond to about 99.9% of the questions down there, and I'll always leave timestamps in the description below so it's easier to find your team's pick if you don't really care about the other 31 NFL teams. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I will see you in the next video.